In June 1986, South Africans watched in horror as a woman got burned to death on television. Maki Skosana's very public necklacing started a whole new trend. But few people know about the events which led to this killing frenzy in Duduza on the East Rand.
Joe Mamasela, former Vlakplaas operative, was the first to explain his complicity in the gruesome deaths of 8 people on the East Rand in 1986. But he is not the only guilty one. The steps of the other accomplices can be traced right to the top of the former nationalist government. June 26, 1986. Shortly after midnight, a group of 13 ANC activists launches a hand grenade attack on the house of a policeman on the East Rand. The grenades and a limpet mine explode in their faces. 6 activists and 2 innocent bystanders die. The story has been told by its executioner.
Analysis, the court gave me some booby traps, rigged hand grenades, and 1 SPM limpet mine, the big one, to give to them. And then this stuff we handed to them, and they were told to choose whatever target they want, 12 midnight, and they blew themselves up.
One student tried to plant the limpet mine at a power station.
It was terrible, because once he started pulling off the safety pin, it went off. There was this black smoke billowing in the air with a little tongue of red smoke, red flashlight. And one could see it was blood. It was terrible.
The death of the activists unleashed a fury of violence in the East Rand townships. The community was blinded by anger and looking for a guilty party. At the first of 2 funerals, Archbishop Desmond Tutu had to save the life of a man believed to be working for the security forces. At the second funeral, Maki Skosana had no such guardian angel. One of the first, most gruesome necklacings ended her life. When looking back, one has to ask the question, what triggered this chain of events? At the amnesty hearings this week, General Johan van der Merwe and Brigadier Jack Ronier told the nation why the grenades were booby-trapped and who gave this order. It was a time when the ANC had stepped up the armed struggle. General van der Merwe said it was a reaction to an intensifying people's war. In this war, he said, 270 policemen had been targeted and killed in townships between 1980 and 1990. Van der Merwe said reliable information had been received that a group of activists were planning a hand grenade attack on the house of a policeman and were awaiting the delivery of the grenades. It was his idea to jump the gun and provide the activists with the ammunition for their own deaths.
I then made a recommendation to this effect. The then Commissioner of Police, General Johan Khotso, in turn presented the recommendation to the Minister. Louis Legansi was then the Minister of Police. Mr. Legansi approved the relevant recommendation. I thereafter discussed the matter with Brigadier Jack Ronier and duly dedicated the execution of the task to him.
'n Voorbeeld van die feit dat opdragte soms direk van heel bo af gekom het, is die opdrag wat aan my verleen is deur generaal van der Merwe, toe brigadier van der Merwe, om handgranate met zero ontstekingsmeganismes te gebruik om ANC-activiste die wapens wil bekom het. Die opdrag is in Springs aan my gegee deur generaal van der Merwe en tydens die opdrag het hy my spesifiek meegedeel dat die opdrag direk van die minister Legansi gekom het en dat president P.W. Botha as ook die oud-commissaris generaal Johan Khotso daarvan geweet het en het goedgekeur het.
At last we have the full picture. We know whose idea it was, who approved it, who gave the order and who executed the plan. Maki Skosana was not one of the above.
Commissioner Johan van der Merwe also told the Truth Commission that the 1988 order to bomb Khotso House in Johannesburg originated in the state president's office.
In 1988, the headquarters of the South African Council of Churches in Johannesburg was bombed. 18 people were injured and the building badly damaged. The police blamed an activist, Shirley Gunn, for the incident. Earlier this year, she told the Truth Commission how she was detained and tortured.
Mr. Adrian Vlok had personally congratulated the forces for their tremendous success in creating havoc and mayhem in Johannesburg and for that particular bomb. And at that point, I thought, you're not going to get away with this.
During 1988, I received an instruction from Mr. Adrian Vlok, then Minister of Law and Order, to the effect the building known as Khotso House was to be damaged by explosives to such an extent that it could no longer be utilized. According to Mr. Vlok, this instruction had come from President P.W. Botha personally. It was common knowledge within security circles at the time that the building concerned served as a sort of internal headquarters of the ANC, where resistance campaigns, unrest and violence were planned, and where financial and other assistance was provided to MK members who had infiltrated into the country. According to information, explosives were also stored in the basement of the building. I dearly dedicated the instruction to Brigadier Willem Skoon, who at that stage commanded the Vlakplaas unit, and once again emphasized the question of not putting lives at risk. Instruction was duly carried out at a later date, and the building was so badly damaged that it was rendered non-usable.
This was one of only 2 cases that General Johan van der Merwe testified about this week. He is applying for amnesty. So is Adrian Vlok. Shirley Gunn, who has brought a civil claim against Vlok, will now sue former State President P.W. Botha as well.